What is up? I am so pumped to be sharing this episode with you because I know if you're a parent, if you are a mama to be, and you're listening to this podcast, you obviously are interested in supplementation for your baby. You're interested in natural remedies if they get sick or like preventing sickness so you don't have to resort to antibiotics or like medications or anything like that. So I can't wait to share this with you. Obviously, at the top, disclaimer, like always check with your doctor before giving your child any supplements, any of these natural remedies. Like, this is not medical advice. This is just sharing what I personally use, what works for us. But obviously, always check with your doctor before giving your child anything. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna dive right in. So at the time that I'm recording this, Madison is about 19 months old, which is so crazy. Like, what is happening? Things go so fast. So I'm gonna first start with the supplements. I have them literally lined up all in front of me right now so that I can like make sure I don't forget anything. And I'll also, of course, we're gonna put anything that's from like Amazon. I'm gonna make an Amazon list for you of all the things that I'm talking about. And then if they're not available on Amazon, we'll put a link of it in the show notes, like if it's just from a specific website. So that will be there for you. But I'm going to first start with the supplements that she's currently taking right now, and then also what maybe she took prior to right now if things changed. Okay. So right now at 19 months, and she's been doing this supplement protocol probably since she was about 12 months, like probably about a year, maybe a little after that. We've been doing this, maybe like 15 months, somewhere around there. So she's currently taking the vitamin D3 plus K2 sunshine drops from Gut Personal, the same vitamin D3 drops that I use for myself and that Chris uses as well, we give to her. So originally I was giving her a different one. I was giving her the Mary Ruth's Organic Toddler Vitamin D3 plus K2 liquid drops. I love that brand. I love Mary Ruth's. They have awesome remedies, which we'll talk about in a second. But that had 600 IUs and also has the vitamin K2. You have to make sure that it has K2 in it because that helps absorb it. And the only other ingredient is organic olive oil, which is perfect. We love that. And the 600 IUs I've been giving her for a long time. Once we got her blood work done, which I think was actually, maybe it was around 15 months that we got her blood work done, or it was around a year. I can't remember if it was 12 months, 15 months, like what is time? I'm pretty sure it was actually 12 months, whatever, it doesn't matter. It was around that time. We got her blood work done and saw that her vitamin D3 was like, it was good, but it was like a little towards the lower side. And we were heading into fall and winter and stuff. But even like in the summer, she had sunblock on a lot of the time that she was in the sun. She's very, very fair like me. So they were just like, okay, if she's taking 600 IUs right now, up it to 1,000 IUs through the winter, and we will, reassess, come like the summer or whatever. So I switched from the Mary Ruth's Organic Toddler one, the vitamin D3 plus K2, to the Gut Personal one, because one single drop of the Gut Personal one is 1,000 IUs. So I take a few of the drops because I obviously need more than she does, and I just give her one drop. And what we do every morning, she like knows now because all hers are liquid. So when we're having breakfast in the morning, she'll like hold out her food, like whatever the piece of food she's eating, and I'll just put the drop on it. She takes a bite, and then I go put the next drop to the next supplement. She takes a bite. Like, she knows the whole drill right now, because we've been doing it for so long. So it's not something she fights. It's like I never tried to hide it in anything, because then, if I couldn't hide it, then she wouldn't want to do it. So now it's just like a part of her routine. She just knows it, loves it. It's like, it's non-issue. It's just like a regular thing. I take my supplements, she takes hers, like we're good to go. So that could be really helpful too. If you're like, oh, they're not taking it. Like, I just never made it a thing. I never tried to hide it in their bottle or whatever. Like, she also never had a bottle because they breastfeed, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So now she's doing the Gut Personal vitamin D3 plus K2 drops, the 1,000 IUs. Again, I just put it right on her food, but she was doing the 600 IUs. But because she was a little bit low, we had to up it a little bit. But I do love that Mary Ruth's organic one as well. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I give her is a probiotic. So obviously, like I said, I'm still breastfeeding. I've been exclusively breastfeeding like for forever, since she was born. And so I'll talk about what I gave to her in the beginning, but right now we'll just stick to what she's doing right now as a toddler. But I love the brand BioGaia. It's BioGaia. BioGaia, and they have a specific toddler probiotic. Obviously, your gut health is so, so, so important. Everybody's gut health is important. Like, every single person on the planet needs to be taking a specific, probiotic. That's obviously, you can get into the specificity of it with like stool tests and all that stuff. But we have just as much like microbes in our body, like in our gut, as we do human cells. Like it's insane. So like we have to really be prioritizing it from a young age. It's good. 70% of your immune system is in your gut. It's directly connected to your brain. So it affects your moods. It affects your sleep. It affects everything. So obviously she has really good gut health just from me breastfeeding, not being on medications, not doing, shots or anything like that. But I want to keep that up as long as possible. And especially around the winter, she doesn't go to daycare or anything. But like she's around my niece and nephew who are school age kids. Like I just want to be supporting her immune system as much as possible and her gut for long-term health. So I'm always giving her this BioGaia. It's a digestive, immune, and oral health support. And it's just a little like liquid, it's like an essential oil bottle almost. And you do 5 drops of it once daily. So I shake it up. I do the 5 drops again on her piece of food and she eats it. Like, so that's the other supplement that I'm giving her. I'm going to link all of this again in the show notes. And then the last thing that I give her, and I wasn't really as consistent with this over the summer, but again, starting like in the fall and the winter, Earthly Wellness is the brand. And so this is not on Amazon, I don't believe. I will put the separate link for it. And I do have a discount code for them. I think it's 10% off with my code. But anyway, it's Earthly Wellness Elderberry Elixir. And what I love about this is that everybody can take it. Like it's good for the whole family age-wise from ages 1 and up. So she wasn't taking this prior to being 1 year old because it was kids 1 and up. And obviously the dosage is different based on the age, and they have it on the bottom, like on the back of how much to give. You could give 2 to 4 drops for children ages 1 to 6. I give her about 4 drops every day because sometimes like the drop falls off, and you know how it is. But it has elderberries, astragalus root, cloves, ginger root, mullein leaf, and filtered water, which is amazing. So I love this formula so much. Her immune system is fire. Again, and we'll get to that in a second. I'm like, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm trying not to swirl on this episode. But that's the other thing. Those are the only 3 supplements that I give her. I don't give her additional vitamin C or zinc or anything like that because I am breastfeeding. So that just gives you so much nutrients in general. She eats all whole foods. Like she eats so well. So I don't have to give her any of those additional nutrients. However, if she ever was like coming down with something, that is when I always have on hand the Mary Ruth's Organics vitamin C and zinc drops. So like when she was little, I think she was like 3 or 4 months, she had like a cold or something. And she never had to go on like any medicine or anything. We didn't have to take her to the doctor for it. But that is when I was like, okay, let me give her extra vitamin C. Let me give her some extra zinc. So I have those on hand as like on an as needed basis if I feel she might be coming down with something and she needs a little bit of a boost. So those things I have on hand as well. But those are the 3 supplements that I just give her every single day. She, again, based off her blood work, she didn't need iron. She was like good in iron, even though she's plant-based. Everyone's like, oh, you need to eat like fucking 17 pounds of meat to have a good iron. Like, nope, her iron was good. She doesn't need extra iron. So I didn't start giving her all these supplements really until I got that blood work done. So I knew like if she needed anything or if she didn't. Because like there are multivitamins and stuff like that, but all her levels were good and she eats really well. So I didn't need to give her that. If she was going to like daycare or something like that, I probably would give her additional multivitamin and stuff just because she's going to be exposed to more things and to really support her immune system. But those are the 3 supplements that I give her every single day. Now, when she was smaller, like when she was first born, I was giving her the BioGaia probiotic that's for infants. And what I used to do for that was I would just put the drops on my nipple right before she breastfed. So that's how I would give that to her when she was first born. And that was the only thing I was giving to her as an infant. And then the vitamin D3, I forget what age I started it, D3 plus K2, whenever my pediatrician told us to start, I don't remember. I think it was at 4 months, if I'm remembering correctly. Obviously, always check with your doctor. I think it was about 4 months I started giving it to her. And it was 400 IUs to start with. So it wasn't the Mary Ruth's brand. I'll put it in the show notes. I think it was Wellement's. Yeah, it was Wellement's D3. And I think that I'll put this again on the show notes. But that was the 400 I used because when they're that little, like you don't start with a 600 or 1,000, obviously. So those are the only things I was giving her in the beginning. And then again, the on hand, if I needed to, if I felt like she was like coming down with something, I would give her that infant, because I have the Mary Ruth's Organic has infant vitamin C and zinc, and I also have toddler one. So just obviously based off of whatever age your child is going to depend on which you're going to give them. But those are the only supplements I gave her and continuously give her right now, just like on a daily basis. Now, as far as like remedies for if they're sick and stuff, let's start with that. So the first thing that I guess I should say, I'm giving this to her on a daily basis or consistent basis because this child has been teething since she's 3.5 months. Literally, she's 3.5 months. She's been teething for so long, it feels like. And the only ones that I will use and that are actually effective for me, right? Like, again, she's been teething hard. She has almost a full mouth of teeth. By the time she was one, she had like 3 molars. Like she's literally been consistently teething for forever. We had like a little bit of a hiatus, and now it's back. She's getting another molar in. I think we're like almost done though. Bless. But the Camellia, I think it's pronounced, but it's the Boiron is the brand. Boiron, Boiron. Their liquid homeopathic medicine is amazing. I'm obsessed with it. A lot of the teething drops, like you are in, like a dropper or whatever, or that you have to like put in their mouth, or you put on your finger and then you put it in their mouth, but then they're biting your finger and it hurts. I'm like, what the fuck is the point of this? I love these for the ingredients, number one, for the effectiveness, number two, number three, because they come in like these separate little like plastic like what is it called? What do they call it? Containers, like it's not a container, but doses. Here we go. Pre-measured doses pre-measured doses, so it's mess free. You don't have to rub it on their gums. You like take the top off, you put it in their mouth, you squirt it in there. Now she knows how to do it herself. I just hand it to her and she puts it in her mouth because, like I said, we've been doing this for almost her entire life because she's been teething for so long. And I love this because you could do like multiple doses a day. Starting at 1 month, you could give this up. I obviously didn't give this to her until she was like 4 months when she started teething, but my absolute favorite for teething, hands down. Target sells it. Amazon sells it. I think they have their own website too, but I absolutely love these. So that's my number one go-to. And then for like sicknesses, right? So thankfully she is barely ever sick. She's never had to go to the doctor, she never had to go on antibiotics, I should say, or anything like that. Thankfully. And before I go into the remedies, I want to say why it's like that, right? For, in my opinion, of how we prevent her, because it's like really, I'm always about prevention instead of like reacting to, okay, now they're sick. Now what do we do? Right. Of course we want those things. That's what these remedies are for, but also like, how can we prevent them from getting sick without putting them in like a bubble? You know what I mean? And number one, it starts with how I took care of myself prior to getting pregnant. How, the supplements I was taking, the nutrition, the way I take care of my body, like the genes and the DNA and everything that was passed on to her, like the gut that I created from taking my gut personal stool test multiple times before pregnancy, healing the candida I had, the H. pylori, all this shit that I had, healing it completely before getting pregnant because my gut microbiome turns into her gut microbiome. So that was so, so, so important to me to make sure that my gut was on point. Because my gut was always something that was like, and still is like my Achilles heel, especially with PCOS. A lot of people with PCOS have gut issues. And I'm just someone with like, if I'm stressed, it goes through my gut. Like it's just always an area that I have to be so mindful of. So I was so, so intentional about that I wanted to pass on a really healthy gut to her. So that was like number one reason why her health is where it is. The way I took care of myself during pregnancy, I had an unmedicated birth with her, vaginal birth, which is really important for like the vaginal microbiome that they pass through, that they get, really supports their overall health and their gut microbiome. We did and have still done no vaccinations. Didn't get any antibiotic ointment in her eyes when she was born. No vitamin K, no B12. That would be nice. No, what is it called? Hep B shot, like none of that shit. And I breastfed. I'm still breastfeeding. Breastfed her always and forever. And I still am. And she obviously eats really, really well. I cook the majority of her meals. Sometimes we'll eat out, but it's always organic. Like the eat out for her is getting food from Cornucopia, which is a health food store, which is always organic. I don't think I've ever given her something that's not organic. It may be like a non-organic, like banana or avocado or something. So those are on the Clean 15, but that's literally it. Mostly whole foods. She's plant-based. She'll have eggs here and there. Maybe like once a month she'll have an egg, but like that's it. And so that is where her health is coming from, right? She gets good sleep when she can, right? Like we try and focus on that. But anyway, like that is why she's the way that she is and why she's so healthy. But we also, of course, there have been times she was like 3 or 4 months. She like got a cold from my nephew. She had like an ear thing going on. When was that? I don't even know. I think she was over a year old. and had like a little fever from that. And then there was one other time, it was around Christmas last year, that she got sick from someone from Christmas, where it was like, I think she had like a slight fever and like boogers, cold stuff. That was like literally, that's been it. So these are the things that I have leaned on when those things have happened, because obviously we need to have tools in our toolkit, right? So number one brand that I love is Zarbee's. They have really great, things going on. Some of their stuff I don't love. Like I don't love some of their products because they have some questionable ingredients in them. But the one thing I do love from Zarbee's is their soothing chest rub. It's like a healthier Vicks vapor rub. And so this, when she was like having any of that, oh, maybe it was like a cough. It was like so minimal that I barely remember it. But with like a chest rub, if they have a coughing or anything like that, they're congested, like this was really, really helpful. And this is for infants 2 months plus. So you could use this starting at 2 months up, and you just put it on their chest, on their back, on their feet. Love this, works really, really good. So that's always something that I have on hand. And I mean, we almost have like a full bottle, but it lasts a really long time. So Zarbee's soothing chest rub, I love. And then we'll go along with that. So like chest stuff, coughing stuff. Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was a cough the last time. It wasn't so much a cold. The Mommy Bliss, love this brand too. Mommy Bliss baby organic cough syrup and mucus, immune support for the day, and then the nighttime cough syrup and mucus support nighttime. This worked wonders, like so good. And I love the ingredients that are in there. Vitamin C, organic ivy leaf. Bedtime Bliss Blend has the organic chamomile flower, passion fruit, lemon balm. So it like really helps them sleep. Slippery elm bark, ginger root, and then the other ingredients, there's organic agave syrup, water, and citric acid. Like so clean, so good. And it worked really well. The administration of it like sucks, to be honest. It was like not great. It was really hard to fucking do. I had to do it while I was breastfeeding her and like squirting in her mouth because she did not want to take it. But you do what you got to do and you figure it out. But that, I love this brand. So for any like cough syrup stuff, the Mommy Bliss cough syrup, I absolutely love. And then going along with cold stuff, the other one that I really like, so I prefer the cough syrup, like the Mommy Bliss cough syrup at nighttime worked really well. And then in tandem, I used, and I talked to like my doctor about being able to use both of these, was the Boiron, same brand as the teething drops, their cold relief. Really good. I love that it's in those measured doses again. So you just take off the top, you squirt it in their mouth. This was really helpful for like the running nose type of symptoms. So like the Boiron cold relief, cold calm, it's called. That was more so for like sneezing and runny nose. And then the like coughing and the chest stuff was more the Mommy Bliss cough syrup. So those are the two you could do together for like those types of symptoms. And then again, the Zarbee's chest rub. Love those. That works really well for me, for her, for us, all things. And then for fever stuff. So for me personally, I do not believe in just like giving, medicine, whether it's even a little remedies one, like I'm talking about, like a not Tylenol, like not the just traditional Tylenol brand for fever until it gets to a certain point, because a fever is your body's way of fighting off whatever's going on. So we don't want to suppress that right away, right? Again, talk with your doctor. Like this is not medical advice. Okay. So for me, if her temperature was elevated like 99 or 100, like I'm not giving her anything at that point. I'm waiting until I think technically it's a fever after 101.4. I think I waited till it was about 102 for me to give her something, because I don't want to suppress it right away, because then it's suppressing her body's ability to fight off whatever's going on. And also I was basing off of how she was acting. So if she was acting totally fine, she was acting normal, she's at like 101, 101.4, and she was acting okay, I'm like, all right, I'm going to wait a little bit. When she was like really irritable, really uncomfortable, even if it wasn't 102 yet, but she was just like really like it was bothering her, I'm like, okay, let me give her something. So you have to know your child, obviously you do, and like base it kind of off of that too. But that's just like my like information on like, I just am not going to just give her something to put her fever away until it's really necessary to do so. Of course, you don't want a fever getting too high, and your fever always spikes at night. So I was like a psychopath. And at nighttime, if like she went to bed and I was at like 101, I'm like, okay, I went in probably every like 30 minutes and to check, like to make sure it wasn't going up at night and spiking. Because if it was, then I was going to have to give her something. They say to not wake them up though, but she did end up waking up and had to give her something. But, I was like checking her fever like a psychopath, because, if your child has had a fever and it's the first time, you're like, oh my God, like you just want to make sure, because if it goes too high, like God, it could cause seizures, like all these things, right? So you don't want that to happen. But anyway, the thing that I did use when I needed to use it, I think I had to use it like gave her 3 doses, like over that, like, whatever week that she wasn't feeling well. It wasn't even a week. I don't remember how long it was. But anyway, Little Remedies. It's the infant ones. And this is good for under 2 years. You could do, okay, wait. So where does it say how old they could be? It says infants. It'll say somewhere on there, but it's like young, I believe. But it gives you the dose for like if they're under 2 years old. So yeah, this was definitely under 2. She's not even 2 yet, and I've given this to her. Where does it say how old it is? So I want you to be able to know, so you know if your child is this age. Okay, I'm not able to find it. I don't know why. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Check it out. It's called Little Remedies Infant Support. It's obviously a liquid. And it's really, oh, good. It expires this month. So glad I'm doing this. Throw this shit out and get a new one just to have on hand. But anyway, this is the one that I love. Amazon sells it. Target sells it. It's an infant one. So this is probably like from birth. If they're not putting on there like ages, then it must be just for forever. So this is the infant one. They probably have, one for when they're older as well. But Little Remedies, that's the one that I've used and I've loved. I like their ingredients in there. It's always like really important to have these things on hand. And then the last remedy that I've talked about and that I will talk about that I've used is garlic mullein oil for when she had, it wasn't even an ear infection. They wanted to put her on antibiotics even though it wasn't an ear infection. And I was like, hell motherfucking no. What can I do naturally? And they recommended garlic mullein drops and also breast milk. So, breast milk is also medicine that if you are breastfeeding, like throw that shit on everything. You have a sore on your lip, throw it on there. They've got an ear infection, squirt some breast milk in there. Like literally it's so important. Even if they're sick, like kiss them all over the face. Your body picks up the microbes that are on their face and it creates exactly what the milk like literally creates the nutrients that they need to help them feel better when they're sucking on your nipple. Like it's so insane. Anyway, but garlic mullein oil, I will put the brand below that I've used. I got it at a health food store, but they also sell it on Amazon. So I'll put that there. That worked amazing. I only did it like 2 or 3 days and everything was totally cleared up and they wanted to put her on antibiotics. I'm like, fuck that. And in 3 days it was cleared up without the antibiotics. So I'm glad that I talked about it, but I have a whole nother podcast episode on that with ear infections. So I'll put that link below as well. But I just wanted to share with you like my favorite remedies because I know that you're interested obviously in doing things as naturally as possible for yourself and for your children or your future children. So to this episode, just save it. Again, look at the link in the show notes. I'll put the Amazon links. I'll just do like an Amazon, like storefront, whatever, for all of this. And then any links that were not in Amazon, I'll put, separately in there as well. And also the daily supplements that she's taking. So I hope this was helpful for you. Message me and let me know if you are a mom or your mom to be, like, what are the episodes you want me to do on here that will help support you with your child? I would love, obviously I'm like, no, expert in this. I'm learning as I'm going with stuff with her. Obviously I have so much knowledge from my nutrition training that like just feeds into, children as well. So anyway, any information you would love for me to share about Madison, about her health, or anything that you are wondering, let me know, message me, and I'll be happy to create an episode on it. But I know this was something that you were all wondering, and I wanted to record it for you. So here you are. Share this with another mom who is, wanting to do things naturally too, and maybe wants some recommendations for natural remedies. Here we are. I love you so much. Thank you as always for being here, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for being here. If you loved this episode and learned something valuable, please share it with a friend who you think would also love it, or post it on social media and tag me so I could personally say thank you for helping me spread this important message. I am beyond grateful to be here with you. So until next time, stay intentional, stay consistent, and always mind your hormones.